right-wing fear. That's what it is, fear. And it's really sad that people are so afraid. But what are they afraid of? Are they really afraid of liberals being liberal? Or is it something deeper? What is it exactly? Well, first of all, let's think about a couple of things going from the especially religious right. Those claiming to believe in this all knowing, powerful God that they pray to. God's will be done. But as they pray for God's will be done, they try to usurp God's will. Let's see. If they get their way, then it was God's will. But if they don't get their way, then the liberals denied God his will. So God don't have the power to overcome the other side, the opposition. So it's never God's will that Obama got in office, but it was God's will that Trump got in office. It's never God's will that Biden got in office. It was certainly God's will that Trump got in office. How does this match? So God can only occasionally force his will? That's in essence what it sounds like we're saying, and God can only occasionally force his will. It worked this time, but it's not working the other time. I'm confused. So if I get my way, that was God's will. But if I don't get my way, it went against God's will. So if I'm on the opposing side of you, the praying Christian who is claiming God's will, and I get my way, then I have proven that my will is stronger than your God's will. That's what you're saying, right? Not even in essence, that's blatantly what you're saying is that it wasn't God's will Obama got in there twice too? You gotta be kidding. No. Trump was God's man. That's why Trump's there. God put him there. But God didn't put Obama there. God didn't put Clinton there. How does this work? That only occasionally God can get his will done, but somebody like me can come along and say, not this time, God. You ain't getting your way this time, God. That's what they're saying. Really. God's will be done. But if it don't suit you, clearly it wasn't God's will, right? It's only God's will when it suits what your old pea brain thinks and wants. That's interesting. That's very fascinating. God's will. Trump got in, it was God's will. Obama got in, that wasn't God's will. Biden got in, no. So how God cannot consistently get his will done is what you're saying. So every other time or two or three, God gets his will done, and then somebody like me or somebody else can come along and, wow, God just can't stand up to us, huh? That's strange. That's very strange. Very strange.